Good morning and welcome. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming here this morning with the coach, Dave Pimper, who has become quite an expert in the Social Security claiming field over the past 7, 8 years now. Has held multiple seminars, discusses it regularly on his radio show, has worked with many of our producers on a one-on-one basis to make sure that they have the right information when they're talking to their clients about Social Security. Does regular updates and readings on Social Security. So really a great go-to person for us around Social Security claiming and a very valuable asset to many of our producers. So besides that, Dave, of course, is a regular producer himself. He writes both insurance products and securities products and mixes and blends those together for his clients' benefit. Been a top producer with us for about the past 15 years since he joined us many years ago. First time I met Dave was on our cruise to Alaska. We did an Alaskan cruise, and he was on the back of the ship smoking a stinky cigar, which I don't mind at all. So I sat out there and chatted with him for a while when he told me he did some coaching, practice management coaching mostly at that time. I asked him if he would work with some of our folks or be open to working with some of our folks, which he agreed to do. And since then, he's been coaching on various subject matter, most recently Social Security claiming seminars, done a lot around radio. So looking forward to having Dave here as our guest speaker today. What he's going to do is go over kind of the top 5 or 6 things, maybe 4 or 5 might be more accurate, that you need to know when working with clients regarding Social Security claiming. So it'll answer probably 75 to 80% of the questions if you know the answers to these questions, so you can help your clients. He'll also offer the opportunity for you to further enhance your Social Security training with him. And then he'll talk about some of the ways that he's used Social Security claiming to increase his business rather substantially over the past 6 or 7 years. So I think it'll be a great meeting for us all. There may be a question that you have along the way. I would type them in. We'll try and get them answered. If it's specific, like to a Social Security claiming question, what I'll ask you to do rather than taking the time to answer that now with the whole group, I'll ask you to maybe make an appointment with Dave. He's glad to answer those questions and enjoys it. So you'll have an opportunity to have a quick call with Dave after the event. You can do that then. If it's more general, we'll try and get them asked and answered for the entire group. As I mentioned, my name is Steve Murray, the president here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. And let's go ahead and get started. There'll be a poll or two that'll pop up. I would just ask you to quickly answer those as quickly as you can. I want to make sure that the new producers aboard are familiar with their new producer builders. You can see they range anywhere from 100,000 point level all the way up to $1 million point level. You can see what we can do there, whether you want to get started on radios, Social Security seminar, mailings, Ritz-Carlton vacation, many things you can choose from, and you can kind of get an idea from your own experience what the value is. If there's something else that you want to do that's working for you that we can donate to at this level, we'd be glad to do that as well. Just talk with your sales director, talk with myself, and we'd be glad to chat with you about that. We do have a couple of programs where we automatically put some dollars and cents in your hand. One is referrals. When you send us a referral, you can see that we give you a reward when they get appointed, but the ongoing reward is we pay you a bonus based on the business that they do for as long as they're with us. Those add up to be the biggest checks that we send out now here at IAMS, which we're proud to do that and happy to do that. As I've mentioned many times, we'd much rather send you guys checks than send out checks to email services and magazines. So we appreciate your referrals. And let us know if you've got somebody that you want to refer to us. Just let your sales director know. We'll get them called, get them appointed, and hopefully the cash flow will start coming your way. Another regular point of cash flow for you is marketing reimbursement. When you do business with us, we put money in your marketing reimbursement account. If you need to know what the balance is, get with your sales director, and he or she will be glad to get that for you. And that's money that you can use for your marketing. You spend $1, we spend $1, so basically double up on the benefit of your marketing. Many folks now do e-apps. There are still some that don't. I would say for us, it's probably 60-40. A little bit more do e-apps now than don't, which is great. E-apps are a great way. It's a very professional way to do business, an easy way to do business once you kind of get the hang of it, which might take an app or two. But I think most people, once they do that and see how it works, become kind of married to that process going forward. It really is a great way to do business. It looks very professional. Don't have a lot of those underwriting mistakes, or I'm sorry, handwriting mistakes that you run into. Gives you the chance, if we need to do some resubmits, to do it rather easily. The signing ceremony can be done via email, or you can do it in person with your client. Nice thing about doing it on our single sign-on portal is all of our, or not all, but most of the annuity carriers that you might do business with us through are on that portal. So you don't have to go from carrier website to carrier website. You can find all carrier e-apps on our website. And if you need some help with that, you have to register for the Firelight portal. It takes about 2 minutes, and our sales directors will be glad to help you through that process. And if you need help through the e-app process, which most people do on the first one or two of them, then simply give the team a call, whether it's a sales director or one of our new business team members on the annuity side. They'll be glad to walk you through that process. Save yourself time, increase your professional look. And obviously, we understand there are times when paper apps are best, and some folks always like to use paper apps. That's great. If we can help you through the e-app process, we want to do that as well. You've got an advertising team here at IAMS, and that's the way I would put it. If you need some help with some things that you want to do to grow kind of your image and brand locally, you've got a great team to do that. Everything from business cards and logos all the way up to Facebook marketing and websites. They can do it all for you. There's a bunch of pre-built rebrandable stuff that they can also make available to you that you can use with your clients. So again, that's a call to your sales director. What do they have? What can you do to help? Many of you may use a software system like the Retirement Analyzer, and that's great. If you do regularly, then you know that it's a great way to increase your level of business on every client that you do business with, and also to present a very professional image to your clients. And I recommend, on your A level, B level, C level clients, your non-transactional clients, that you use a system like this. And we think the Retirement Analyzer is the best one. And the reason that we like it is it gives there's a lot of variability to it. You can handle almost any situation using Retirement Analyzer software. At the same time, the inputs are, relatively speaking, easy. Like as you all know, you got to put good information and comprehensive information into a system to get good information out and comprehensive information out. But we think the combination with Retirement Analyzer is the best in the industry in terms of ease of input and quality of output. And so much so that we stand behind that. We pay the cost for you if you're doing business with us. And even if you're just getting started with us and maybe haven't done business, but you still want to try out the Retirement Analyzer, we're going to make it available to you at our expense initially as well. If you haven't done business, we just ask that you do business with us to keep access to that. That'll save you $60, $70, $80 a month and give you access to a great tool that you can use to grow your business. You can see before you a lot of the questions you can answer with your clients, and you can also see it really puts it together in a nice graphic format for you. You don't have to have a color printer to make it look viewable, but it obviously looks prettier with all the color and a little bit more notable. So if you need to get access to that, you can either send me that in a chat, or if you want to just get with Marcus, I'll chat over his email address, and you can send him an email directly. Marcus here at imsync.com would be the right email address. Just say send Retirement Analyzer link, and he'll get that out to you. Just take you a minute to send that email to him, and it takes him a couple minutes to get that email back out to you. IAMS Wealth, as you all have seen, the DOL, of course, enacted on a kind of a temporary trial basis, if you will, and then it just got extended. It was supposed to go into full force here towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, but I think they delayed it for another month or two. But in the meantime, they're still asking that everyone kind of adhere to the basic guidelines of that. That's a big deal going forward. I think you see it can affect your business, and over time they're going to continue to add, I think, I would say guidelines, but in a way they're kind of restrictions to that. And as that regulation gets more and more onerous, you're going to want to have access to products besides insurance products. Now, you can get that access a couple ways. You can get a Series 65 and go through an RIA like IAMS Wealth Management, or you can refer that out to a friend in the business, or maybe referred directly to an RIA like IMS Wealth. In many states, we can compensate you for that referral. So a couple things there that I think you need to be aware of. If you have interest in getting your 65, or maybe you have your 65 and you're looking for a new RIA to work with, we'd be glad to have a conversation with you about that and see if we might be a fit. I'm going to throw up a quick poll, and if you would like someone from IMS Wealth to give you a call, I think I have a poll for it. Let me double check. I do. I'm going to throw up a quick poll. If you'd like someone from IMS Wealth to give you a call, just put yes on that poll. If not, then put no. And as is always the case, I want to get moving here fairly quickly. So if you can answer that poll quickly, I would sure appreciate it. A couple of reasons. If you have a 65 and maybe you think your fees are too your registration fees are too high, your payouts are too low, I think you'd be happy with IMS Wealth. They do not do the payout through a grid, so you get 100% of the payout, and that payout is a little over 1%. Maybe you don't feel like you get enough assistance from your RIA currently. They're very service intensive, just like IMS is. A very similar outlook, so they're going to help you take care of that business. If you're thinking about getting 65, haven't done it yet, you'll like to go with IMS Wealth. They're very good at indoctrinating you and helping you through that process. They'll help you with the study process and get you everything that you need to get up and going as a 65, and then they'll help you with the transition and how you do that. We've got a couple of folks on staff. That's all they've done, almost that exclusively, because many of the folks that we do business with on the wealth management side came from the insurance side, so we can really help you with that process. Thank you all for voting. I see a couple of you haven't. I'm going to take those as no's. For those of you that were unable to vote, I'm going to ask you to again send me a chat via the system, or if you'd like, just give me a call or give your sales director a call, and we'll be glad to set up a call with Duncan or Charles or Mike or Joan, Zach, anyone over there can have that quick call with you, kind of walk through what they do, how they do it, see if it's a good fit. So let me close that out. Again, thank you for all responding so quickly. I want to make sure that you're all aware of our Top Producers Summit. We're going to go on a cruise, and we're going to start in Rome. We're going to go down the Italian coastline, come back up through between Italy and Greece, Croatia, Montenegro, right up. There's kind of a coastline that you're kind of on both sides. You got Italy on one side and those countries on the other. And we're going to make some great stops. You can see where we're going. As I mentioned, we're starting in Rome. We'll end up back in Venice. So two great cities to start and finish in. If ever a guy or gal is going to extend on a trip, that would probably be the one. And you've still got 6 months to qualify. It takes 4.5 million. Qualification runs through June of 2022, and then we're going to head out in late August, early September. You'd be coming back home to the U.S. if you don't extend afterwards. You'd be coming home on Labor Day weekend. So we'd love to have you go and join us on that. We've got room on the boat. You're going to have, everybody's going to be on the concierge level, which is great, because not only does that get you 24-hour access to anything you could want aboard the ship, but it also gets you early on and gets you, somebody to take care of your laundry and pressing and shoe shining and all that handy stuff to make your trip just as carefree and as luxurious as possible. So all of our attendees will enjoy that. Our top 3 attendees will enjoy penthouse suites with excellent views. Everybody, by the way, will have a balcony, which will be nice because we'll be going by a lot of coastlines. But it'll be some excellent views for everybody. And the top 3 will also enjoy super accommodations, I think including even a butler. So that should be a nice trip. If you have interest, have questions, please get with your sales director, and they will be very glad to give you additional details on that trip. Life and Annuity Academy, we're supposed to have one actually next week with one of our providers, but that did get postponed. They had a little, they decided based on a little increase in COVID positive testings there early in October that maybe they would want to wait until the spring of the year. And so we'll be doing one, we either be Chicago or Des Moines here in the spring of the year, and then we'll have a couple more throughout the year. If you have interest in joining us for an academy in 2022, we need to get you some information out. I don't know if I even have a poll. Gosh darn it, I forgot to close out the poll before. I apologize for that. I'm going to go back up a slide because I know you didn't get to see that. So those are the, we're going to go aboard the Oceania Cruise Line, ship called the Riviera, and those are their stops and the dates of our travel. So I'm going to move back down here. Go past the Academy. I don't know if I've got a poll for that one. I do. If you have interest, and I want you to answer this one just really quick. As I mentioned, we're not going to have any more this year. We're going to have some coming up next year. If you want us to send you registration paperwork for that, just put yes there. If not, put no. As please vote quickly if you would. So if you vote yes, what's going to happen is you'll get an email and have a registration. You'll have actually a sample of a agenda, so you can see it's a 3-day deal. We take care of all of your expenses. We'll take care of your travel and hotel and such. 3-day event, usually a Wednesday through a Friday, and we'll have about 40 to 45 top level producers like yourself, and we'll just go over ways to grow your business. A lot of sales and marketing, a lot of information. There'll be some product information, of course, but we really do concentrate on the sales and marketing part of it, things that can help you get in front of more clients, things that can help you grow your business, some things that everybody does that are very successful tips for growing your business. And we do that all over. We'll have come in Wednesday, start Wednesday evening, go all day Thursday, half a day Friday, and get you back out to your hometown, home state after that. So if you have interest in receiving that registration, hit yes. If you don't hit anything, I'm going to assume that's a no. Nobody's voting no, everybody's voting yes, but there are a couple of you that haven't voted yet, which is fine. Again, if you're unable to vote, call in, talk to your sales director and say, hey, send me that Academy registration, or if you want more details, more information, certainly ask them about that as well. Again, I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you all for your quick voting as always. All right, I'm going to double check and make sure that we have the coach aboard.
Yes, you do.
Ah, there he is, Dave. I did a long and detailed and very glowing introduction of you right out of the gate. So they know everything about you except that you got in the business in, about 1982. So you're celebrating about 40 years in the business?
Yeah, actually 81, 40 years. That makes you seem really old, doesn't it?
No, looking at your picture there, you couldn't be more than 45.
Yeah, because that picture's 18 years old. I got a brand new one. I got to put it in there.
Yeah, we'll get that updated. But I kind of walked him through what you're going to cover today and talk a little bit about some of the ways that you use that Social Security knowledge to grow your business. So I'm going to turn the slide presentation over to you. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Dave, for some really great information. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for everybody being with us. We got and more people coming on board right now, so that's great. On a Tuesday, my name is Dave Pimper. And I've been in the business for 40 years, long time, and I work with the pre-retired and just retired. So the fixed index annuity product, it's a mainstay of what I do. I also do brokerage to complement that, and it works well together. Steve did mention the wealth management company that I do have. It is growing absolutely leaps and bounds. I used to say that wasn't their mainstay, but it is one of their key components of their business now. So if you're not securities licensed, the 65 license is a fee-based license. It's not a commission license. If I had all over to do again, I would have my life and health. I'd show fixed, indexed, and fixed, maybe a little bit of life, IULs, and I certainly would not leave that other money on the table. I would do it from that security end, even though that may not be your mainstay. So kind of keep that, put that in your pipe, smoke it, because we're trying to be holistic in today's. When DOL came down, they talked about a holistic and not just a kind of a one product salesperson. So this is going to last. This is a 30-minute presentation. So we're going to be done at about 10 to the hour, and just kind of got a lot of information that I think is, when you talk about Social Security, I think that there are fallacies. There's a lot of advisors that don't really understand that you can make money from Social Security. In fact, I just had a Social Security workshop about a month ago. I got another one coming up next week, and I had 11 people there. I had 11 appointments that I got from the people that had about 39 or 40 registered, and I had 11 appointments for the people for the 2 nights. And I've done 2 pieces of business. The first one was smallish, around 70,000, but yesterday I did a $400,000 piece. And you start thinking about that. I mean, that's $20,000, and it cost me $2,500 and my time to put it on. If you understand Social Security, and the reason those people came in, it was for me to help them. She was a widow, and she was taking a survivor's benefit, and she didn't really understand what happens when she turns 70, because she's waiting her to wait to turn to 70. She wanted to know if it's discounted. That's why she came in. 3 weeks later, we just rolled over $405,000, from her retirement accounts. So I will say this: Social Security is a moneymaker. Social Security, you can set yourself apart. Tons of people know things about annuities. Tons of producers know things about life. Tons of people know things about Medicare. But I'll tell you what, not tons of people know stuff about Social Security. And the reason is because most people don't understand that it is the inroad. It can get your foot in the door. So here we go. If you have any questions, type them on in, and we're gonna get this show on the road, and we'll be done at 10 till the hour. So here we go. Any questions? Just bring them up. This comes right from the excerpt of Sarah O'Brien, CNBC, titled "Most Retirees Get Little Advisor Help on Social Security." And listen to this closely. A majority of older Americans get no. That means none, nada, zero professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security. Why? Even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study concluded. Isn't that wild? I cannot tell you how many times a person said, well, if you know that, you just really must know the industry. I'm doing business with you. Truly. So here's a test, and we're going to take a test, you guys. It's from Simply Wise. It's 60 or what happens on this is Simply Wise is an online financial kind of data gathering firm, and they put together a quiz, and I passed it. I passed all 5, but let's see if you can. So let's take this quiz. It's to show you how much you know about Social Security. Here we go. All right? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? All right? So what age is that to maximize it? 5 seconds left, and we're going to open it up here. Write down your answer. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? It is not full retirement age. For a single person, it's age 70. Age 70. That's when you'll get your full benefit. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Okay. Write your answer down. Got it? Okay, here's the answer. 60. There's a 28.5% discount, but you can take it at 60. Now, there's some ins and outs on earnings tests and other stuff, but that's the earliest you can take it. Only 9% of the people got that right. So don't feel bad if you got it wrong. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Answer. Yep. Now, that's half the answer. There's actually, that'll be for the next one. Yeah, that's that, Chris. It is yes. Yep, she has to claim. Okay, this one, it says, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Ray? Can they or not? Yeah, they can. If 4 stipulations are met. Now, if you guess 2 of the 4, I'm going to give this answer, this total question right to you. Give me 2 of 4 stipulations that have to be met for a divorced spouse to receive a spousal benefit. Okay, here we go. First one is the marriage had to last at least 10 years. Second one is you have to be unmarried. The person claiming, not the ex, but the person claiming. Ex at least 62, divorce lasted at least 2 years or longer. It was 2 years or longer before you got divorced. Yep. So if you guess, all 4 of those have to line up to get it, but if you got 2 of those, I'm going to give you the answer correct. And the last question is, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Yay or nay? Yeah, you are. If those 4 stipulations are met. So, we just talked about them, so I'm not going to go through them. Remember, your marriage had to last at least 10 years. You're currently unmarried. Your ex is at least 62, and your divorce was at least 2 years ago or longer. How'd you do on that quiz? If you got them all right, congratulations. Not many do. Only 10% of all advisors really understand, and that's including CPAs, lawyers, bankers, Northwestern Mutual, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones. Yeah. So if you know Social Security, there's no doubt that it puts you in the driver's seat for giving that information. It's a great foot in the door. Remember, Social Security Administration can't give advice. Why? Because they can't ask, hey, how much income you making right now? They can't ask, what are your investable assets right now? Like you could pull an income like a 401k, 403b, etc. They can't ask you, how's your health right now? How is your extended family health DNA right now? They won't ask any of those. We do. Now, I will say this. I coach, so I don't work for Insurance Agency Market Services. I write business through them. They're my sole FMO. I think they do a very good job of knowing my business and what the kind of product that helps me. Help me with marketing. But what happens is that when it comes to Social Security, there's no other FMO that's going to give this kind of offer. And that is, there's 3 ways that you can go in and you can get coached up. 2 doesn't cost you a thing as far as the coaching. They're both hooked in with marketing programs. One is where this $400,000 just came from. Yeah, that was from Social Security workshop I just did 3 weeks ago. Just wrote it up last night. Actually, I walked out of my office at 7:30. Hey, Steve, are you still there?
I am.
You know what? When I drove past
when I drove past the IAM's mansion, I didn't see your light on. That was I got out of there at 7:20 and past your place. No kidding, everybody. Steve, I'm not positive how much time he spends at home, but many times 7:30. Steve's still there on the phone and talking to people on the West Coast. But I will say this is that we offer it through Social Security workshops, 2,500, a guaranteed 35 registered people to sign up. We coach you through Social Security. There's no cost to you on the coaching. I am pays for that. They stipend me for that. There's Retirement Boss Radio, being your own radio host. Last week I got 3 people that signed up, and they're set appointments. They're set for you. It's a recorded show. Normally costs you all in between $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Great way to get in front of people. And then we just a la carte it. I don't want to pay for anything but just the coaching. $800 4 sessions to coach you up. So there's 3 different ways. 2 are paid for by the FMO. I coach you up. 1 is just a la carte on yourself. That's 3 great ways to get in and learn Social Security claiming. If you have any questions, just type them on in, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Okay. It says doing this one thing with your Social Security can mean losing $100,000 in retirement. So, how much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you?
retirees will lose an average. Get a load of this. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. That's wild. Wild. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. That means 96% did not. We can really help people when it comes to Social Security claiming. That's a little history of Social Security. Started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. 65 was the only age you could originally take it, even though people only lived to 62 in 1935 on an average. Is that wild? Cost of living allowances, which this year went up from 1.3 this year, it's going up to 5.9. Highest increase, well, the highest it's been in 39 years. First taxation was in '83 by Ronald Reagan, and then it got raised again by Bill Clinton 10 years later. The Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 was the last time that there was a major change. That's when file and suspend was phased out in 6 months, and restricted application was phased out over 8 years. We're at the very end of that right now. How important is Social Security? Dang important. 59% of all retirees count their Social Security benefit as the major source of income. It's a major source of income. I will tell you, when you're looking at Social Security, there is no doubt at all that, not a bit, that Social Security is really misunderstood. And what we want to do, we want to go in and really explain of how Social Security works, to people. I will tell you that Social Security is so misunderstood that even the Social Security office gives out different information depending on who you talk to, but it's important. Here's kind of Social Security 101. There's 3 dates or ages that are important to Social Security. What age is the earliest you can start your benefit? Age 62 at a discount, 25 to 30% discounted. What's the latest you can wait? 70. At 70, waiting isn't always the best return for your situation if you figure in your health, your assets, your income, but just on getting the biggest benefit, one benefit, even if it's for a month, it'd be age 70, and then you get your full benefit, your normal benefit, somewhere between 66 and 67. Can it have a huge value? You darn right, but you have to claim at your right time. Not the right time, not a right time, but claim at your right time. All right? So the Social Security Trust Fund has about 2.8 or 9 trillion. That's with a T, like ton of money. Ran a deficit last year, but it will start running out of money probably this year. And what are we going to do about it? Well, in Congress, there's some different bills. It's a political hot potato, so nobody wants to really put the pedal to the metal here. But there probably is going to be some increase in taxation, and there's probably going to be some type of increase in age. If not, we'll run out of the trust fund in the year 2034, according to the trustees of the Social Security Administration. So here's some facts about Social Security. It is a pay-as-you-go system. It's funded mostly by payroll taxes. The 6.2% that you pay, the 6.2% your employer pays. Yep, if you're self-employed, you get both ends of that. And they buy bonds, treasury bonds, special issue treasury bonds with no market value adjustment. And the government does. They do borrow on those bonds. They cash them in and borrow, pay other debt off. It's not a Ponzi scheme. There's nothing hard that backs Social Security now. No bonds, no stocks, no gold, no silver. But it is the full faith and credit of the United States government. That's the same entity that backs our currency. So as long as our currency is good, I think Social Security is going to be good. How do you figure out what your benefit's going to be? Well, there's 40 quarters of coverage. And those 40 quarters of coverage, it takes $1,470 to get a quarter of coverage. So if you make in any quarter $1,470, you're going to get at least a quarter of coverage, a minimum, but you'll get it. You can only get 4 a year, one per quarter. You need 40 years of that. That's 10 years of work. If you don't have 10 years of work, you're not going to get a Social Security benefit. And for that matter, you've got to pay way up to get a Medicare benefit. So they want people working in the United States. They take the earnings over your working career. They take your 35 highest inflation-adjusted years when cost of living's figured in. And there's something called AIME, A-I-M-E, and that's kind of a complicated. I did it one time by longhand. I'll never do it again unless I want to commit myself to an asylum. That's why we have software now that does all of that. It does it in seconds, where it took me hours to do it longhand. Yeah, that figures out of how much your benefit is. The average benefit in the United States right now is around $1,550. The highest benefit's around $3,160. In Nebraska, if you have above a $2,000 benefit, that's pretty good. It may not be that way in San Francisco or Chicago or LA, but it is in Nebraska. FRA, full retirement age. You get the full retirement amount. If you're born between 1943 and 1955, age of 66. I was born in 55, 66 years and 2 months. 56, then just stair steps 2 months up to 1960 year later. If you're born 1960 or later, full retirement age is 67. A baby born today, full retirement age 67. That's probably going to change in the future, but not as of now. If you take early, it gets reduced. It gets reduced about 5% a year, and depending on your age or FRA. At 62, it's reduced anywhere from 25 to 30%. The cool thing is if you let it go longer, go from say 66 to 67, of 66 your full retirement age, it's guaranteed to grow 8%. Get a load of this. If you've got a high benefit, say you got a $3,000 benefit, you've been a high earner your whole life, $3,000, and you let it grow from 60 to 67 or 67 to 68, 1 year after full retirement age. Cost of living next year is 5.9%. Did you know that if they wait 1 year, their benefit grows about $410? In 1 year, a mini pension in 1 year. It's a great system. So I'm always a believer, and if you've heard me speak before, but I'm a believer if you know the individual benefit, the spousal benefit, divorced spouse, survivor, and restricted application. If you know those 4 or 5 items, there's no doubt that you really are going to have the majority of the answers for Social Security. So here's how spousal benefit in simplistic form works. DACE PIA, that stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age. Okay? I just got it typed in. We will absolutely answer questions, but we'll do it at the end. We got about 5 or 6 more minutes, and we'll do it when we get done. Absolutely, we will. Okay. If you have any questions, type them in. Dave's PIA is $2,400. Amy's primary insurance amount, the amount at full retirement age, is $1,000. Dave takes his $2,400. Amy has the option. The lower one always has the option, general neutral. In this case, it's Amy, the wife. She can take all of hers, which is $1,000. She can take half of Dave's, which is $1,200, whichever is higher. Which one are they going to take? No doubt. They're going to take half of Dave's. And how the Social Security looks at it, there's a $1,000 individual benefit and then a $200 top-up of a spousal benefit. And that's done actually automatically. Okay? How about divorce spouse benefit? Remember those stipulations, 4 stipulations? Yeah. He's lasted 10 years or longer continuously. You're currently unmarried. You're actually married, but not you. Your ex is at least 62, and the divorce was at least 2 years ago. If those basically 4 things line up, then you can take your ex as if you're still married to them. Why is that important? Because there's many more benefits with married couples than there is single couples. Yep. How about Survivor? My wife always says that no one gets out of here physically alive. We don't, do we? No. And normally the guy dies first, 75% of the time. The lady that I did the 405,000 yesterday, her husband died 2 years ago. Yep, died. He died around 70 years of age, pretty young. Dave's benefits $2,000. Amy's benefits 1,200. Dave dies. Amy, if she does nothing, she'll keep her 1,200 bucks. She could drop hers though and take Dave's. That's an increase of $800. She can't get them both. She can drop hers and take Dave's. What happens if you don't drop? You don't get. It's biblical. You don't ask, you don't receive. Tons of benefits left on the table. Government's not going to mail you out a certified letter saying, "Hey, you're leaving money on the table." They don't do that. And then there's something called coordinating spousal benefits. This is restricted application. The twin sister to file and suspend that was phased out, over a quick time period, over a 6-month time period back in 2016 from the 2015 Bipartisan Budget Act. So here, if you're born before January the 2nd of 1954, then you could apply for this. The spouse doesn't have to be. They just have to be 62. So here's how this works, and stay with me. This gets kind of complicated. But in this scenario, it's a bit outdated, but let's just say both are 66 full retirement age. Dave's primary insurance amount is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Amy takes her $1,000. He gets $1,000 coming into the family. Dave wants to wait to 70. That's a great thing to do. That alone is great. Against the 8% delayment credits and COLA, of course. Every single benefit gets COLA if it's available. But if he files and restricts, there's a loophole that says he could take a spousal benefit. Spousal benefit's always half of the spouse's benefit. The spousal benefit here is $1,000. Dave can get half, $500. That $500 is free, absolutely free money. Free money. Over a year, 5 times 12, $6,000. 2 years, $12,000. 3 years, $18,000. Free money. But you have to be born January 2nd of 1954 or earlier to be able to get this. So you have to be almost 68 years old, like 67 years in 10 months old or 11 months old to get it. But called restricted application. Less than 1% of all people who they'd benefit use it because people just don't know about it. Yeah. So Social Security personnel, what can they and can't they do? And they can give your highest benefit right now. They can tell you what you're entitled to now. They cannot give you advice. Right from their program's operational manual, for their manual, look at number D there. It says to the workers of Social Security, provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Is that wild? So I always say consider all of your income streams. There's actually 5 income streams. It's not a standalone income stream. I think Social Security is the most flexible because you can turn it on when you want to. It's not demanded until even at 70. If you want to just lose your money, you can. You don't have to. Claiming at your right time, and sometimes people figure out break evens, but remember your survivor benefit. So working wages is one of the pillars of income. Pensions, income producing assets, and this is where I start uncovering. Like this is what I did with this lady. I mean, we had a dormant 401k, and we have actually a pension that she's of $80,600 that she's able to go in and cash out and roll over. Yeah. But 401ks, IRAs, Roths, brokerage accounts, CDs, land, yeah, all those could be converted into an investment for yourself. Required minimum distributions are at 72 for traditional accounts now. And then how Social Security works. How does that work? So how does it complement? That's just a lot to consider when you're looking at Social Security. A lot of different kind of benefits. Remember, there's 3 ways that you can get coached up on Social Security. I tell you, if you're working with the pre-retired or just retired or retired, you should understand how that Social Security benefit works. If not, if you're competing against me, you're going to lose the majority of the time because I know that information. Somebody knows that. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it's a feather in the hat. I can coach you. It's either done by seminar marketing you get coached up by Retirement Boss Radio marketing. If you want to get in front of more people, those two will do that. I am pays me to coach you up, or just 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 a la carte. I can coach every quarter. I can coach about 5 to 6 people per quarter. It isn't much more than that because I got a full time practice and I'm busy. I mean, I have lots of appointments. My son runs our Medicare shop. I mean, he's done really well. I know yesterday he had one. And I think on last Friday, I think he had two or three on Friday apps. I mean, we do lots of marketing. We're busy shop, but Social Security, I would have never got that business yesterday if it wasn't for Social Security. There's no saying, and Steve's going to be putting up a poll if you'd like to go in and get more information, maybe how Social Security could help you. But there's a saying that says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. You know what? Social Security, um, it never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Don't let that happen to you. If you heard something today that you said, I really need to get information on Social Security, you need to mark yes. Steve, are you there? I don't know if Steve's there or not. Steve? Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be back in a second. But he'll be putting up, if you're there, Steve, we'll put up that poll right now.
Yep.
Okay, real good. And we'll put that poll up. And if you'd like to get more information, just mark yes. We'll give you a call today. Line up a good time with yourself and with myself that it fits the calendar. This is not any kind of a hard sell. This is just, how Social Security could help you. Questions about Social Security, maybe the marketing programs of Social Security. So I'll do this, Steve. I'll hand it over to you. You can see if whatever questions there are we need to answer before we finish up for the day.
Perfect, Dave. Well, when you started talking about radio and seminars, the questions started flowing in. So I'm going to look at those and remind myself. There are a couple things that are specific. When I let off, I kind of let the folks know that if they have a real specific question, that they should make an appointment with you. Just mark yes on this poll. There's quite a few of those. Let's see. So you mentioned briefly radio. There's a couple questions on cost, which I know is kind of hard to answer about radio, but can you give the folks out there just a little bit of a guideline based on your experience with your folks that you've helped out on radio?
That's an hour recorded show. You can record it from your office. You're actually only recording for a half an hour. We repeat a second show, one from earlier, 4 weeks earlier. But you can do it at your convenience, your home, your office, even your car, as long as you got Wi-Fi and a good connection. And the radio cost is the expensive part of it. We have a national buyer. He's very good at what he does. He really understands the market. He has an office down south. He has an office up in Chicago. Just very tuned in. And we have the majority of the areas are open. We have some that are not because we have already got, advisors that are placed there. But there's the cost of that. There's cost of production. There's the cost of the call center that takes your because it's a recorded show, but people call in. A live inbound high touch call center takes the call, and they're very good, very efficient. And we have electronic calendar that they're hooked up with us. Every Friday we take about 20 minutes to fill it out, so we never have trouble with overlapping of appointments. You're going to run $3,000 to $4,000, Steve. I mean, if it's a big station, it might be more than $4,000. If it's a very small market, it might be less than $3,000. But $3,000 to $4,000 has been the normal all-in cost to be on the radio for an hour a week. I mean, I say my telephone number 20 times in that hour. I mean, really all the time. And they're calling on in and going right into the call. It doesn't take up any of your weekend time. It's just I record on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and it's perfect. I get it done at by 8:30, 8:40, I'm done. And I'm averaging about 15 set appointments a month. This last month I had 13. Month before I had 15. Month before I had 20. I've had as many as 27 appointments in 1 month. I think the lowest I've ever had is 8, and it's just very very consistent. I remember my last, and I'll just bring this up too, Steve. Is okay. There may not be a question on it, but the other side of that is Social Security workshops. Well, with Retirement Boss Radio, I coach you up in Social Security. It costs you nothing once you come on board. I coach you up on Social Security workshops. We get you the PowerPoint. I coach you up on Social Security. Now I got 11 appointments from that, and I've done 2 now, so I've got about, I got to think about this, 4, 5. So I've done about $27,000, worth of gross business. And I still have 2 I'm working on, and there's 1 appointment that we haven't been able to get together with. So hopefully I will get 1 more. It isn't always like that. I mean, God basically has paid for all my seminars, for the next many, many, many months, probably almost all of next year. But I'm consistent at doing them. And most people, Social Security is one of those unique kind of seminars too. You don't need to lure them with the meal. They're there because they really want the information. So hopefully that answers that question, Steve.
Yeah, and there were a couple questions about seminars and pricing. So
Okay.
when you look at those 2 side by side in terms of pricing, you mentioned that probably about 3,000 to 4,000 a month to be on radio. And that's, by the way, it's to be on radio in most areas for an hour a week, 4 to 5 times a month. And so when Dave says he got 3 appointments or 4 appointments, or that's on his weekly show. And then Social Security seminars, how much are you spending on those right now?
I got some multiple stations that I'm working with, so I'm at about $4,300 or $4,400 all in. But I'm in the big station, the big 50,000 watt station, which was we call it the Rush Limbaugh station, even though Rush is now dead. But then I've got a couple other stations, very small, but I do pay some for that, so I'm a little over $4,000 a month.
Right. And on
Yep.
seminars, how much do you spend per seminar right now?
2,500. Yeah, and you know this, Steve. It sounds like that may be going up a little bit in the future. That has not been changed for 3 years. But
Yep.
the vendor who does all of our marketing, it just Facebook marketing costs more now. I mean, it just costs. There's more cost involved. Facebook has been under the microscope, and he's had to jump through hoops and do some things. So I think that's going to go up to probably 3,000 or maybe 2,750. But we know we're not going to make a change until next year. So for the rest of the year, anyone who books it in this year is still going to get $2,500.
Perfect. We've got a little bit of a weird phenomenon going on with our polls today. I've noticed on all of our polls, we don't have any no's. They've all been yeses. So either people are afraid to vote no. Believe me, we're not offended by that at all. Obviously you're just expressing your interest one way or another. But if there's an issue, if you're having a problem voting, as I've said already on this webinar, just give us a call here at the office. You can ask for me or any sales director and just say, hey, I'd like to set up a quick conversation with Dave, and we'll get that set up for you.
Can I say something real quick, Steve?
Sure.
I think that's a good point to make, and I was just thinking about this when you were talking. But a lot of people, Steve, you can attest to this, but a lot of people during the pandemic, maybe they were unable because you're in a lockdown state, in a shelter-in-place state, but a lot of people lagged in marketing, and they lagged in production.
Yep.
And they lagged in marketing because they couldn't find a way. Radio was great for us. I mean, we tried some online seminars, had below average success. I'm not saying we didn't write anything, but below average. Some people had success. We did not. But radio was really strong. And right now, seminars are really, really hitting hard again. So if you're looking for more appointments, not everybody is. Some people are happy where their production is. But if you're looking for new people to talk to, Retirement Boss Radio, Social Security seminars, with the slant of really knowing and understanding Social Security, which you should anyway. If you're working the pre-retired and just retired crowd, it's a perfect time to jump on in. So I think that's why we've had, I can tell we got a bunch of yeses. A lot of folks are marking yes. Yeah, so that's great. And I'm looking forward to speaking with everybody.
Good. Yeah, not one no. That's a little odd. But I feel like Social Security is the worst kept secret. Social Security claiming because everybody's talking about it, but I don't know that, based on the polling results in there's that poll that was commissioned by, I think, Allianz or Edward Jones or somebody that talked about Social Security and how many advisors were comfortable talking about Social Security. That number is
Oh yeah,
extremely low, like it's
yeah,
13% of advisors are, and it's, you would attest that, I think you would anyway, that Social Security claiming in your business over the last 6 or 7 years, and certainly over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, has been a real game changer for your business.
no
Would
doubt.
that be accurate?
Yeah, no doubt. It isn't that I didn't do production before that, but I'll tell you what, it's easier knowing Social Security. I mean, it just is. And is it the end all? Is it the silver bullet? No, there isn't
Oh.
such a thing in our business as a silver bullet. But is it a good bullet? Yes. Hey, can we even legally say bullet now? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, but everybody knows what I mean. It's a good thing. I mean,
Yep.
but there isn't just one thing that opens up your business and you don't have to do anything. No, you got to work at it. And even when you're coaching, there's a book to read. I call it the Bible of Social Security. It'll cost you $20, but it's great. I used to have people read 3 different books. I read one book. I read that book every single year in January. Every year, I read it every year. I get something out of it. The guy we used to work for the Social Security Administration. He's had this book for like 25 years. I mean, he's updated it 6 or 7 times. But
Mhm.
you know what? There's a little bit of work that goes in. But I'll tell you right now, when you get done coaching with me, you'll know more than you knew before. And then you also have the ability to, as long as you're writing business through IAMS and you're contracted through IAMS, yeah, you're able to use me as much as you want with any of your Social Security questions, or for that matter, retirement or just investment questions. And I've got a background, and I'm pretty thorough. I mean, I've done this for years and years and years, but I really like to see people increase production. It's fun, and that makes the world go round, and it makes your spouse happy. I'll assure you.
Well, and so Mick said, is that $800 a year? The answer is no. That's an $800 one-time fee. Dave will not cut you off. He's really good about it. In fact, as he mentioned, he enjoys helping folks. So glad to help you with that. And the Social Security. So the cost of a seminar, for instance, right now it's $2,500 to get 35 reservations. That's what it is right now, and then it also includes that same Social Security training. So it's almost like you get that for free when you decide to do seminars. And the reason that we encourage that is because seminars are opening up, and it's still Social Security seminars is easily the most productive method for our producers that we have found to get them in front of
No
decent,
doubt.
qualified prospects to talk about what they want to talk about, which is retirement income. It's just a great subject matter, and you're not luring them in with the meal. It's not a mealed seminar at all. It's just as Dave mentioned, kind of it's educational workshop that is really easy to do. If you haven't done seminars in the past, you will find this the easiest entry level seminar type to do. It's really
Yep.
Dave has all the slides, he's got all the verbiage, he's got everything that you need, and then you don't take questions for obvious reasons, and then you move on. So there is a question here. So yes, we are going to have, this has been recorded, so it would be available for you to view if you would like to view it. So if you want to send me, Steve at IM Inc., an email, and I will send you out a recording of that if you'd like to have a recording of today's event. Let me see if there's any other questions. There's a couple more that have been added on. Hopefully you folks have made every 71% of you have made appointments with Dave. So most of you have done that. And I'm guessing that some of these questions that you've asked here that are a little bit more specific, he can answer during that call. With that, I think, is there anything that you want to add, Dave, as we close up? I mean, it's such a great webinar. We do them regularly. We always get great feedback, and we always get guys taking advantage of it. Is there anything that you'd want to add as we close up?
I would say this. Can you remember years ago? So I learned it about 11 years ago, but this must have been 12 or 13 years ago. And you said to me, you said, Dave, you know what? We should really be showing Social Security seminars. Other FMOs are. I feel like I'm getting that was. And we were actually kind of in the beginning of things,
Yeah,
but I said I'll go look at it. Do you remember this?
I
And
do.
I ordered Horton's Mouth, and I thought, God, this is
A lot.
complicated stuff.
Mhm.
That's a lot. I just don't have time. And then I had so many people ask me questions, and I lost a pretty big piece of business because I didn't know Social Security. Hardly, when you lose stuff, Steve, you hardly ever know it. But he told me, I was just impressed with this guy, what he knew with Social Security. That was it. I mean,
Yep.
that was it. Was resurrected from the grave. I said, I'm learning Social Security, and boy, am I glad that I did. Don't let that happen to you. If you want to learn Social Security, this is a great chance to do it. 3 different ways, all very competitive, and you got someone to help you, someone, a coach to go in and to stay with you. So hopefully, when we talk, that you'll see the value, and you can get on kind of that Social Security train, and and just talk to more prospects, bring in more money, bring in higher production, because Social Security claiming.
Well, and there's another part to that which I don't think we touched on at all today. So there are other ways to get educated on Social Security. In fact, you can do it on your own. You can order books,
Oh
and
yeah.
you can get
Yep.
certifications. There's a lot of ways to do that, and I'm not saying don't do that, but there's a part of understanding Social Security and working with clients towards the opportunity to do business together that most people struggle with. And uh, I know Dave, after he did his first couple seminars, he struggled with it because he told me the first seminar, I said, boy, this is great. Going to see a lot of people. And then, a month and a half later, he's like, boy, it was not as easy to convert those people to clients as I had hoped. And there is an art to that, which Dave had to figure out, or a science and an art that Dave had to figure out. So it's not just knowing Social Security you can certainly use it to help your clients, but if you want to use it to grow your business, I would count on taking advantage of Dave's coaching and talk about that, because Dave goes through that pillars of income process. It's really important in helping people make that conversion, because there have been some folks that have done Social Security seminars that stopped doing them because though they got appointments, they were not able to make those appointments be sales, and they took that as a shortcoming of their seminar. It's not. It's a
Hmm.
shortcoming of the process, the follow-up process afterwards. And we have helped a couple of those folks, and now they're back in the seminar business and really happy with Social Security seminars because they're doing what they wanted to do, which was help their clients and then meet new
Right.
people and
Right.
convert them to clients. So there is a lot to
Right.
that, a bit more to that than I think what most people figure. So um, I think that's all we got. I think we've answered all the
Okay.
questions. I think everybody that can vote did. If
Good.
not, if there's a question or you want to chat with us, give us a call here at the office. I chatted you over my 800 number earlier. It's 800-255-5055. You also have my email address, steve@imzing.com. Glad to put you right directly in touch with Dave, answer any questions you may have developed along the webinar today. We're always biased towards helping folks that are trying to learn and gain more information to help their clients and to build their business. So, we want to help you. Give us a call here at the office. Great time to be doing business. A lot of people want what we have to offer. So by all means, give us a call and let us help you with your business. Is there anything you want to add as we close up, Dave?
No, thanks for the participation today, and looking forward to talking to everybody here in the near future.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Have a great finish to your sales week, and thank you again.
Thank you. Bye bye.